Sunday fun day, boom, NFL like that is making news. Hey, it's not big time news, but at least we know that hey, when we miss football, football misses us back, right? Obviously, what I'm talking to is the Dallas Cowboys, right? Go Cowboys! It's our year this year. Every year is our year, right? Uh,
Pretty
they
much.
traded for Brandon Cooks from the Houston Texans, wide receiver. You got it was a fifth and a sixth round. Cowboys were able to get him at a $12 million salary this year. He's locked up till 2024. And Laramie Tunsil, offensive tackle for Houston Texas, he actually signed a 3 year extension. I believe it was worth roughly 3 years, 75 mil. So, guys, are what do you think of the moves? Are they good moves or not?
Who wants to go first?
I'll go first,
Oh,
man.
for Harv.
I
Look,
mean,
look.
you two guys up top are the Cowboys guys, so we need to get how you guys
I'll
feel
tell you
about this.
this, man. I am not happy about this Brandon Cooks move. Now, after a while, I have no, um, there's nothing for me to say anymore just because it happened already. But there's nothing I can do about it. So we just got to go with what we got. But I mean, he can stretch the field. He can still play, I believe. But to me, it wasn't a sexy move to me, man. And this is what scares me about it. If we have Brandon Cooks, does that mean we're not gonna draft another wide receiver? That's my question. And the reason I ask that is because we're always behind. So if we don't draft another receiver and Brandon Cooks is here for 2 years, and when he's gone or whatever happens with him, now we're stuck with, oh man, we need another wide receiver. And that's the part that scares me about it. I personally would have gone after offensive line if it was anything else and then drafted a receiver. But that's just my opinion on it. That's what scares me, man. Um, as long as we draft a wide receiver in the draft and it's one of the ones that I want, I'll be okay with the move. So that's my thoughts on it.
We got some comments. We got Hoodlum. I know Hoodlum personally. He is a cowboy. He's a cowboy guy. Let's see what he says. So was OBJ talking about the Cowboys trying to pay him 4 million or no? Because if we give in Brandon 12, it's a good question, Hoodlum. Look at that. He's pissed, man. He does not. He doesn't like this move. Walt, if you can, there's a great question out there that somebody asked me. Why has Brandon Cooks been a part of so many different teams?
Funny you asked me that because I was about to ask you guys the same
Oh
exact
no,
question,
you're
man.
the draft guy, man.
I don't listen. I don't know, man. I think one thing's for sure: Brandon has to still be running like sub 4.2.
Yeah.
He has to be
Yeah.
because he's been a part of a lot of trades, man. You know what they say, at least in basketball, if you've been traded a bunch of times, that's kind of a compliment because a lot of people do want you. And despite the fact that the Eagles, despite the fact that the Cowboys only gave up a pick this year and a pick next year, a 5 and a 6, both respectively, that lets you know that there still is some value for Brandon Cooks. Now, why hasn't anyone been able to really capitalize off of it? I really don't know. Since he's been in New Orleans, things pretty much haven't worked out anywhere. So maybe things will be different for you guys. I think the team overall they're doing as much as they can initially right now to make sure Dak has as much success as possible because at the end of the day, your quarterback is the centerpiece. And when you have a guy that you're financially tied to, whether you believe he's the guy or not, because I know what it's like to be part of a town where half the city believes he's the guy and half the city believes he isn't. So when you have a situation like that and the organization is riding with the guy that they paid the money to, and I'm pretty sure Jerry Jones, he isn't faking it. I'm pretty sure Jerry does believe in Dak. If Jerry didn't believe in Dak, I believe he would have been disregarded him. So I mean, it's I don't know what to say about it because he hasn't been successful for a long time. I mean, since what Drew? Since Drew Brees? I mean,
I,
honestly,
well, he's put up some good stats. Well,
yeah, but it's like they're so empty. Like he's one of those wide receivers that just has numbers, and when you Google him, it's like really. Like it doesn't seem like he has much of an impact anywhere. Now, granted, he's been in some bad situations. The Rams got better after he eventually was gone, and he was only there for a hot second. But I don't know. I mean, it kind of feels like, and I'm with Javi on this. You could have spent money on a younger pair of legs in the draft, honestly. I mean, they
I
went
think.
after T.Y. Hilton.
Mhm.
T.Y. made a couple plays late. He showed he can still get downfield. But Brandon, how old is Brandon now?
29.
29. Okay. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, maybe the money really doesn't matter that much to them, so it's kind of like, yeah, so what? If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But personally, I would have went with some younger legs, honestly.
I think the Cook signing, and I got experience with this because I'm a Patriot fan. He got traded to the Patriots years ago from the
Didn't,
Saints or whatnot.
wasn't it twice?
Yeah, well, we acquired him from the Saints, and then we traded him to the Rams after that year. But he put up 1,000 yards. He put up 1,000 yard season with the Patriots that year. He was one of our best receivers that year. Caught a couple game winning touchdowns. I remember the one he caught against the Texans. I think it was the first. I think it was week 1, I believe. But we played Deshaun Watson, D Hop, and the Texans, and he got caught the game winning touchdown. Put up. He had a great season. We just didn't bring him back or whatnot. We traded him. I think as a Patriot fan, not be funny, but we kind of remember him getting hit in the Super Bowl against the Eagles and getting knocked out or whatnot. That's why a lot of Pats fans remember. And he's been a little, I wouldn't say injury prone, but he's had a bunch of concussions in his career. So it's kind of like a big risk there. He's missed a few guys. I know he only played 12 games last year. So he's been kind of banged up a little bit, but he's one of these guys. He's been around at teams, and you think he's older, but he's young. He'd be 30 in
Yeah.
November, I believe. So he's been in race like, dang, why the hell these teams keep just shipping this guy to town? Like teams can't get him out of town so quick or something like that. But I feel like it's a good move for the Cowboys. I think overall, I think it takes him out the OBJ sweep, takes him out the DeAndre Hopkins sweepstakes and whatnot because you have no place for them now because you're paying, you got to pay CD soon. Gallup's on the deal, come back, and then you got Cooks, and I think Jalen Topa would be better his second year. He's already working out with that. So there's 4 right there. You don't have no room for OBJ, especially for his price tag or a big D Hop contract. So I think it's a good move for the Cowboys.
I will say this, and we'll go ahead and end it at that. Right, with Brandon Cooks, I think the reason why he's been moved around so much is because the league kind of went through this little phase of trying to look for the next Julio Jones, which are 6'3" plus and some change. It can run 4 threes. That the league kind of was getting away from these smaller receivers, but now, like you said, well, just the system. If he finds the right system, we can see what he does. I mean, he's had 6 1,000-yard seasons. He had 1,000-yard season two seasons ago. He probably would have had one last year, but obviously I think he took 4 games off because they told him they were going to trade him, but they didn't trade him. So I just think he kind of got lost in that situation. Hullum says Jerry Jones rather shop at Ross than go get a guy from at Gucci. This is laughable. And how Cook's is going to get the ball. He's a deep threat. He's not Cole Beasley. And Dak do not have consistent accuracy. Ooh, hello, being a little harsh there on our franchise quarterback there. You can't buy a car for $2,000 and expect it to do things that BMWs can do. Damn, Jerry and Stevie remind me of Julius from Everybody Hates Chris.
Wow.
Hullum is very passionate cowboy. He's
It
a younger cowboy fan, so he didn't get to see the dynasty years.
That's good, man, because it's good to see kids. Well, how old is he?
He's 25.
Oh, 25, yeah. So it's good to see the fan base in that age range passionate. Because a lot of the younger kids really aren't that passionate about football the way we were.
This guy is, man.
Yeah, they are. He's very passionate. And if they are, well, what do? They just jump. They're bandwagoners, right? They just, I'm a Chief fan. I'm a Niner fan. And, so that's why you can't really take you can't. But this is exactly the type of Cowboys fans that there is still out there. But let's get right into it, man, because I mean, other than that, we've had a lot of things, right? But kind of like it's been how many moves? I mean, the title says it's right, $2 billion spent in NFL free agency. But let me ask you guys right now, who are sleepers in free agency this year as far as team wise? Who's a sleeper team?
Me myself, I think it's one team a lot of people haven't talked a lot about, but for them in Carolina, everything started free agency wise with a couple weeks ago when they had the guts to actually trade up. They could have did the safer thing and kind of rolled the dice on getting the guy that they wanted or not by trading with Detroit at 6 or Seattle at 4 or even Houston at 2, but Carolina had the guts to go all the way to number 1 to ensure that they got exactly the guy that they wanted. But going to free agency, you look at the fact that, okay, they lost Deontay Foreman, a guy that I'm a big fan of, to the Chicago Bears, but they paid a little bit more money, but they replaced him with a better running back, I believe, in Miles Sanders. Also, they needed tremendous help on the back end, safety wise, also corner, but they did fix the safety situation, I believe, with Von Bell. Given the fact that I think they gave Jeremy Chin a ton of opportunities to really show what he can do on the back end. That's where Chin really struggles. Chin is better pretty much playing in the box, and I think Von Bell, the addition of Von Bell, helps that out a lot. Hayden Hurst is another guy who's bounced around a lot on a bunch of teams. Honestly, he's what? I think he's 29 now. He's been on, I believe, 4 teams. He helps out. He's an extra body. Also, I think the 2 key situations that they did get to handle was the fact that they were able to bring back Bradley Bozeman, one of the better young centers in the league. They brought him back, not too much. And then also Andy Dalton. So you understand the fact that whoever they decide to take at number 1, they got a solid veteran in place who knows exactly what his role is. There's no confusion with Andy Dalton. He know he's going in as the backup to the number 1 overall pick. He knows exactly why he's there. And with all the money they gave out, I don't think anybody is on pace to make more than $7.5 million next year for them. So they spent pretty good. Now they gave out some guaranteed money. Guys getting $11 million guaranteed next year, $13 million or so, but base salary wise, they spent the money they spent so far, and nobody's making over $7.5 million next year. So I like Carolina. I like the position they're in right now. I like that offensive line. It's a nice young physical offensive line. Ike Ekwonu really came along later on in the season. He proved to be everything he was discussed to be coming out. So, like I said, I like Carolina. I like Carolina a lot. They paid a little bit more for Miles Sanders, but Miles Sanders is better overall than Deontay Foreman.
Yeah, I don't know. So for me, I don't know if I would have came up for a quarterback like that, in my opinion. When you for me, right? If you're gonna get a rookie quarterback, to me, they're kind of all the same. Does anybody stand out more than the other, really? I don't feel like that. For me, it doesn't, right? So for me to move up to number 1 and give up all those picks doesn't make sense for me. I would have moved up maybe 2 or 3 spots ahead and then help this football team, whoever that rookie quarterback is, right? But it just doesn't make sense to me of why they would do that in this draft, at least this class. There's just too much talent in the first 15 to 16 picks. I would have probably maybe gone, offense to help out that rookie quarterback that I do pick 2 or 3 spots ahead, but I wouldn't have got number 1. So, I mean, yeah, they got Sanders and they got all these guys, but that's just my opinion on it. I don't think I would have done that.
So what team do you think is a sleeper team with that is wanted free agency?
Me personally, I'm going with me.
Well, I was asking Harv, but you'll go next.
The
I'm
sleeper
gonna
team. Go ahead.
I go with the Seattle Seahawks.
I like them.
I like what they've done on the offensive line. I mean, from last year, the defensive line, they sound like 3 defensive tackles, couple linebackers, a safety. Just got Julian Love. They got Devin Bush. Seahawks have been making some moves quietly. Nobody's talking about it.
I don't know. For me, man, I think quietly Bill Belichick is getting these free agents, and I don't even know how to say his name from the Dolphins. Kendall, help me out.
Mike Gesicki.
Mike Gesicki, yeah.
Mike Gesicki.
Like, that's underrated. You got Juju. I mean, they're making these signings, and it's quietly they're putting this offense together, man. And then whatever draft picks they get, what if they get a wide receiver, another wide receiver? That could be dangerous, man, especially with this Bill Belichick defense. He doesn't need star-studded players, man. It's the philosophy and the scheme that they run over there. So I think they're the sleeper, man, in my opinion.
I appreciate it. I could have been a homer and said that, but yeah, I appreciate it.
At least they're giving the Patriots some love. Hullum says, "Hey, Walt, can we have the Bengals front office? I'll pay you." And then look, he says, "Lions, hands down, they had a great free agency." So that was actually going to be my pick, was the actual Lions, because I think that Cameron Sutton was probably he has developed into a really nice corner in this NFL, and it's great to see the Lions are kind of moving into a transition. I think it's going to be a very telling time with how Brad Holmes handles if he sticks to his BPA plan or if he starts to attack the needs. But like you said, all four teams that we just mentioned, I think those fan bases have every opportunity to be excited. I think Carolina is finally gaining the right step. They're learning from the Colts, right? Let's just secure the bag. I would have loved to see Matt Corral personally. I don't know about how, anybody want to chime in on him, but like you said, I think the Seahawks are going to be very formidable. Maybe they won't break down at the end of the year. And like Harvey, I think you're right with the Patriots. And then let's see what the Lions can
Well,
do.
Jerry, one more thing I will say about Carolina. If you look at them and how they're built, they've had like a lot of success over the past 3 years drafting defensive players. They've
Really?
got some solid offensive linemen they've picked. Of course, Christian McCaffrey's gone, so they benefited pick wise from that. This is a team that didn't really need much except for a quarterback, and they've swung and missed on some guys. Looking at Darnold, and they thought Kyle Allen was the answer after Cam Newton was gone, and that didn't work out. And drafted Matt Corral and drafting Baker, that turned out to be a disaster. I think teams like Carolina and the Colts view it for what it really is. You can only kick the can down the road so often. You have to eventually jump up and get somebody. Last year was not the draft to do it at all. It was not the draft to get a quarterback. And I think we have a tendency to overhype drafts and then downplay when they come. Guys like C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young were the top guys coming out of high school. They proved it through 3 years of college. They're the top guys, 1 and 2, projected coming out of college. And I would feel comfortable picking either one of those guys. If I needed a quarterback, I'd be comfortable with either one of those guys. Not so much Levis. That's why I really don't mention him that much. And for me, Richardson would be out of the question at number 1.
He reminds you too much of Cam Newton, right?
I like him. I mean, I compare him a lot more to Steve McNair. I think he's a little bit better naturally of a passer than Cam was coming out of college, but it's just too much of a risk, man. I would not take him number 1 overall. But if you're Carolina and you got Josh McCown in place there helping you out with the quarterback situation, you got Frank right there, you got Deuce Staley coming over from here from Detroit to get things going running game wise. I just think that situation is perfect for any one of those quarterbacks they decide to take at number 1.
Yeah. Oh, Matt Corral. I think he got hurt last preseason against the Patriots, so we haven't been able to see a lot from him. He's pretty solid at with Ole Miss, I believe. Did he get Ole Miss? Pretty solid quarterback there. And the Panthers really traded for him in the draft off a pick from what we got. We got Bailey Zappi, they got Matt Corral. So I think the jury's still out on him, and just see how they do like this offseason, the preseason. But I heard they could trade him or whatnot. So we'll see.
Kendall, why are some top free agents still available?
I think one, money, price tag. So a lot of them, they want no names, but some of them want $20 million a year. But then, next day they don't. I think the price tag. I think some of the age of some of these players still out there. There's still some good names out there, some good players. You got McCole Hardman, OBJ, DJ Chark. I think he visited with the Panthers a couple of days ago. I haven't heard nothing on that. So there's a couple good names, but there's still some good guys out there. And the running back market is going nowhere right now. Nowhere to go with the running back market. So I think, Leonard Fournette's out there, Zeke's now out there, Damian Harris. You got a lot of guys out there. So I think they'll start to pick up. But then if not, the running back market is real slow. So maybe after the draft, teams get their guys, then we can start to see a lot. That's the big domino effect.
Look what Hullum says. I'll be happy if we get B-Wags. He's talking about the Cowboys. Yeah, Bobby Wagner. And then look what Dwight Thrasher says. I'm telling you, y'all, the Lions are going to make a Super Bowl run. Damn.
Hey, I'll tell you what, man. And I get it. There's some moves I like about Detroit, but if you look overall their free agency, like they covered a lot of needs.
They did.
Cornerback, guard, I believe, linebacker, running back, like they're poised to do whatever the hell they want at 6, whatever the hell they want at 18. Like best player available, man. So, I mean, to me, that's what it says in free agency. I might be wrong, but there's somebody on this podcast that knows more than I do. But that's just me looking from the out and the inside, right? So, but yeah, they definitely set up themselves for the best player available.
Hello says Panthers got my guy J.C. Horn. I wanted the Cowboys to get him, but we got Micah. Not mad. It's hard, right? Because there is a lot of players, right? They could have drafted Justin Fields. They could have. Wow. Micah, Rashawn Slater, another great offensive tackle. Richardson reminds me of Jason Campbell. Wow. Jason Campbell?
Don't do that to me, man.
Jason Campbell. Wow. Richardson is not even in the same level at you, not even close. But I understand that. My process behind that was, a big. You're talking about a huge quarterback that can obviously run. I know he has a lively arm, but I'm just saying, kind of that same shape. It gives him too much. I guess. What is it? What is that? Post-traumatic syndrome where with Cam Newton. Hoodlum, Jason Campbell was not a running quarterback at all. he goes, I'm just trolling. Jeez, guys, jeez. So Harv, what do you think? What's up with these free agents still available?
I don't know, man. I mean, if you look at all of them, I think they want more than what they're actually valued at. Realistically, let's look at it. So I think Donald signed is it $7 million somewhere there around Donovan Wilson, the safety.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, CJ Gardner-Johnson, he's a beast. So you're looking at $14 million, man. Like he's not going to get that, and people are strapped for cash. And I just think he wants too much money and nobody values him at that. And, back to the OBJ thing too. I think he wants too much money. Wagner, I think, is a little different situation. I think he really, in my opinion, I think at this point he needs to realize he wants to win another Super Bowl and not take as much money, and he needs to figure that out. But there's a lot of players. I think Perrymore's still on the board. We got, is it Roxon? There's a lot of good players on here, but it all comes down to how much you want.
Sean Murphy Bunting is still out there.
Well,
going back for Tampa Bay.
Well, what about Dalton Schultz? Why hasn't his market picked up? I mean, he's still relatively young tight end.
Yeah, I think Schultz is another guy to realize that the market for him just wasn't there for what he thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
He's an okay player, but a lot of teams feel they can get younger and better and cheaper in the draft. Honestly,
but Walt, that's the thing though. So let's say there was only 2 top tight ends in the draft. Well, Dalton Schultz would have been signed already? So
probably not. I still don't think who was really like the last big name tight end that got big money on the market? Now, we don't really see it that often. Like the big name guys typically don't move that often.
But my point to that is there's so many tight ends. Why do I got to pay a tight end?
Unless he's great.
In this draft, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's the draft in my opinion.
But I think also like some of these positions outside the tight end, linebacker, like off-ball linebacker, some of these positions are like age bias. Because like Levante David is still a really high-level player. But he's about to be 34 soon, and nobody's going to pay a 34-year-old off-ball linebacker probably the money that he wants. Even though from a production standpoint on the field, Levante still probably deserves that money. There's a lot of these guys here that deserve it. Bobby Wagner was probably hands down the best linebacker in football last year. And look what's going on with him. Like, teams are sign him, let him go. Sign him, let him go. Like, why can't he get paid? Like, I think some of these position groups, there is a little bit of an age bias going on. And then, I don't think the market was ever that sexy. And we discussed this before free agency even started, before the season ended. When you went through that free agency list, there was really no huge money guys on it like that. And I think a lot of these guys are getting paid. This may be the smallest market we've seen in a long time. Like, guys are 1 year, $10 million, 3 years, total $18 million. Like, you're seeing those kind of deals left and right because, and I agree with Javi, I think teams are like really strapped for cash too.
Yeah. But this is my thing, right? And I'll go back to Rock Ya-Sin, right? He allowed 63.2 passer rating opposing quarterbacks last year. He allowed 51% passes thrown his way to be caught with no touchdowns allowed. How's that dude still a free agent?
He's second rounder.
I don't get it.
Rock is going to keep a job though, because Rock always keeps a job because he's steady. I don't think there's anything special. You know what?
No,
he doesn't really do anything special. He's sort of like Adoree Jackson was, where I can cover guys all day, but my interception numbers will never be there.
Ooh, good point. Good point.
It's true.
The interception guys are the guys that really get paid.
Good
Didn't
point.
Rock? Where did he interview? I mean, where did he visit? Was it the Giants or Ravens? It was one of those teams. I was saying he was.
I believe it was the Ravens.
I think it was the Ravens.
Okay, I'm about to say. I know I seen the last week he was visiting. I hadn't heard much from it, man. It'd be a good pickup for the Patriots if they can get him. But yeah.
Dwight Thrasher says because Schultz cannot catch, that's why he hasn't got paid.
I don't know about that.
No linebacker in this draft is better than B Wags. No wide receiver in this draft is better than D Hop. Now,
well, the difference with D Hop is you'd have to trade for him. He's not a free agent.
yeah, true that. And then he says, I think D Hop goes to the Patriots or Vikings. Wow, if he goes to the Vikings, damn, that's game over there. I think it'd be kind of hard for the Patriots to be quite honest. Now there is some linebackers that we do like. Greg Walt, I think we talked about Drew Sanders quite a bit. He's going to be an interesting player in this year's draft class. See, Harv, give us some head scratchers in NFL free agency so far.
Oh man, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'd probably have to go with Waller to the Giants. Like that isn't. Why would the Raiders trade him away? Especially with. So this is why I say that, because you have Jimmy Garoppolo, right? Which used Kittle when he was at the 49ers. Why wouldn't you use that security blanket for the Raiders for him? Why would you trade him away? That doesn't make any sense to me. You just paid him. I think he got a 3-year, $51 million contract or something like that. And you just traded him away? That doesn't make any sense. And for the Giants, just for me, you franchised Barkley. You signed Daniel Jones. Why don't you just get a tight end from this rookie class? There's too many of them. Why the trade? It doesn't make any sense to me. For both. I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
I think with the Waller situation, I think he was a John Gruden guy. So I think that if you look at what they're doing, they're trying to get rid of as much John Gruden guys there and completely rebuild the Raiders there. What do you think, Walt?
I'm gonna go with T.J. Edwards, formerly of the Philadelphia Eagles, who. This is a dude I was real high on, man, coming into free agency. I wanted the Lions to consider him. He's 26 years old. He's consistently gotten better. The more the workload they've increased for him the last 3 years in Philly. And he was kind of projected to make a substantial amount of money, man. And for him to go to Chicago for the small amount of money he went there was kind of crazy to me, man. Like, he was projected to get somewhere around a good $40 million a contract. Full, not fully guaranteed, but somewhere around $40 million total. And he got like 19 and a half, I think. So like he went way below market. But as we were just speaking about in the previous segment, a lot of guys got way below market than what they expected to get. But I mean, man, are we kind of devaluing slowly every position that isn't quarterback, edge rusher, or corner? So now linebackers don't matter. Like, let's be honest, man. There was a point in time where a linebacker of his caliber and his age would have got what he deserved on the market. And guys just aren't getting what they want anymore, man. It's like, if you're raising a son right now to play pro football, you may want to raise him to not be a running back.
Nope.
Like, you better strengthen that right arm.
Yeah, be quarterback.
If your son is 5'9" and 180 pounds, you better work on his back pedal. Like, I want my son to play anything but running back or even linebacker right now, unless you're an edge rusher. Like, you might as well raise edge rushers and quarterbacks and corners, man, because they playing people bad. Like, and especially for the running backs, man, it's sad that you come out of college, and the organization that drafts you gets the best of you for the first 3-4 years of your career, and then when it's time to pay you, no, we can't do it. Like, the life of a running back really sucks in the league right now, man. The organization takes advantage of you the first 4 years of your career. They just wear the tread down on those tires, then after it's over with, tell you they can't pay you what you deserve. We can't pay you for what you used to do. But I just did it last year. That doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like,
Good point.
It's crazy, man.
Kendall?
I'm gonna go Alan Lazard to the to the Jets. They already got a good wide receiver core. Yes, he's Aaron Rodgers' buddy or whatnot, and one of his best receivers when he was in Green Bay. I'm like, you got Corey Davis, you got Elijah Moore, you got Garrett Wilson, the rookie of the year, whatnot. Like, and then you add in Alan Lazard. So now time team, you probably have to trade one of your receivers now, and you don't even officially have Rodgers yet. So for that contract, I think it's like a 4-year. He got some money from the Jets or whatnot. I mean, I know they're going to get him, but it just didn't make sense. I felt like that wide receiver core wasn't the issue. He needed a quarterback. So I mean, that was a kind of iffy move for me, and for the amount of money and years he got there too, I was like, okay, I didn't get that one. I think Corey Davis and Alan Lazard, I don't think they're too far apart. Elijah Moore hadn't even hit his peak yet. Garrett Wilson, you already know what he can do, rookie of the year. Like, so I mean, so who's the odd man out there? Probably Davis. And then they still got Denzel Mims too, a pretty good wide receiver. I like him out of Baylor, I believe he went to. Yeah, so I think people forgetting about him. I think he can play when he had an opportunity. Probably a cut candidate now, but I just think I don't understand that one.
Kendall, come on, man. You know, if Aaron Rodgers was going to the Patriots and he said get Lazard, you would get Lazard.
Yeah, but listen, I like Lazard. I like Lazard.
I know. I'm just saying.
You got to bring his entourage with
You got to bring your entourage.
They got to bring his barber too.
I guess it's happy. What is it? Happy wife, happy life.
Man. Come on.
I tell you, man.
Another head scratcher to me was Stidham to the Broncos. Not that he went there, but how quick he got there on the first day.
True.
That was a head scratcher too.
That
was one of the first couple signings.
Hey, that ain't a head scratcher to me. That's Sean Payton said, hey, Russell Wilson ain't the man, dude. I got somebody that can
right.
Let's be honest, right? Because what did Sean Payton say about, who was it, Reggie Bush? And his agent called Sean Payton and was like, hey, man, do not pick us at 3 or 2, whatever they were picking at, because we're not going there. And he said, F you, I'm picking Reggie Bush.
I was selling it.
I'm just saying, like, he doesn't put up with that crap.
So Hullum saying that Brandon Cooks was the worst right now, or a head scratcher. Come on, Hullum, don't be so harsh on the Cowboys. I'm not high in Miami. It may just be me, but I'm not high on the Jalen Ramsey thing. If you would have been a Cowboy, you probably would have been high on that. And Dwight Thrasher agrees with Walt. Can't pay other positions when guys like Daniel Jones are making $40 million a year. So, that's definitely more to keep an eye on, right? How is the NFL going to address this? Because that number just keeps on inflating, and quarterbacks that, have one good year are getting 40 mil plus, and that goes for Jalen Hurts too. He had one good season, and now everybody's saying he's the next $45 million quarterback. At what point does the NFL have to play, a chess match with these contracts, or how can the NFL improve these contracts? Because it's getting very ridiculous how some teams are able to just make money just disappear, and their cap situations, just disappear, and other teams can't. But that it is what it is. Anybody have any final thoughts? I know that the Titans signed linebacker Azeez Al-Shaair, formerly of the 49ers. He's on a 1-year deal worth $5 million, including 3.1 $3 million. It's $3.175 million in his signing bonus. I thought he's actually a pretty good player. Can't believe he only got a 1-year deal. Any final thoughts, guys, before we get off the air?
So I got one, man. Got one. People need to pay attention to is I think slowly but surely Patrick Mahomes is becoming the Tom Brady of the league. If you look at what he's doing and what they paid him, that $500 million contract, that's a steal. And then he's taking another pay cut. What does that say that says that he wants everybody that's on his team or add weapons. So look, listen, I get it. Guys want to get paid 100%, but what are you in it for? Are you in it for the money or for the trophies? What do you play the game for? What do you really pay for the game for? To win a Super Bowl. So to me, man, if it was me, I would probably take, if I was a quarterback, I would take less money but make it guaranteed. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, pay me 30, 35 million, but the whole contract's guaranteed. So you can save that money to put players because it's guaranteed regardless if you play or not. I think that's a smarter move if it was me. Instead of getting this 45 to 50 million, hey, give me 30 million, make it guaranteed for 4 years, and bring the players that I want to win this game. And watch out, man, because Patrick Mahomes is doing that already. And that's what Tom Brady did in his career.
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree. I think Kansas City, they got sort of the perfect storm going. Because, like, even before Andy Reid got there, like, the Chiefs have always, even back to the 90s, the Chiefs have always been a good team. They just never were really able to get over the hump. They always had, like, those serviceable quarterbacks. You had Todd Collins and Elvis Gerbach and Steve Bono and Alex Smith. And, like, they always had, like, those plug-in guys. But they've always been good. Like, defensively, offensively, ran the ball well, quality offensive linemen. They've always been ran well. They hit a home run with getting Andy Reid over there.
They really
and they
did.
put the right system together. They put the right coaching staff together. And more than anything else, he had the guts. Great people have the guts to be great. And what makes sense to great people doesn't make sense to losers. So he went and he said, you know what, Alex Smith, 11-3 or whatever, that's fine or whatnot, whatever, maybe 11-5. This guy right here from Texas Tech, if I get him, he can take care of us for the next 13, 14 years. And everybody said, if you went back to ESPN and a lot of those networks, when they started talking about that story, why would you trade up for this guy? He's a project. Look at him. He played in the gimmicky offense in the Big 12 with Texas Tech. Nobody good ever comes out of Texas Tech. Andy Reid's losing it. Now look what happened. I'm telling you, man, you have to have the guts to be great.
Yep.
Nothing good comes from safe money at all. You're just gonna stay the course and just kind of wallow in purgatory, and nobody wants to really stay there, man.
No,
We know about that.
No, yes, we do. You go. Hullum says, "Shoo, pay him 60 mil." He's talking about Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, you get more years in NFL if you win. As a quarterback, can get 15 years in NFL if you have a good team around you. And I like Dwayne Bowe. Damn,
I forgot about him.
Bo.
Yeah, he was with the
Bo's
Chiefs.
the man.
He was with the Chiefs. He was a star at LSU, man. Shoot. But I mean, I think looking big picture, I think that contract that they gave Patrick Mahomes actually did them a great service because if you look at his annual salary, it's about, I think he's averaging, what was it, Harvey? Like 41 mil a year?
Yeah, 40 mil.
And that's insane when you look at Dak Prescott, who, you know, his contract was 4 years, a 4-year deal, but he was going to be making 49 mil this year, and then next year it was going to be 52. Now it's at 22 this year, but everything now next year is going to be like close to 60 million that he's going to get paid. So yeah, Cowboys kind of like shot themselves in the foot. They're going to have to re-sign him for a longer deal. So I think that NFL teams should look at that contract and see if they can get their quarterbacks on that similar type of contract. But all great points. What did he say? I was talking about Jalen Hurts. Pay him all the money. He said he paid Jalen Hurts 60 mil so the Eagles can't sign and be a draft and develop team. So that is for that's it for us.
What about Kendall, man? Kendall, what you got?
Final thoughts, Kendall? Final thoughts
are just, we were just talking about the Chiefs. Frank Clark, he's still a free agent. He's still out there. Really good under the radar player.
Yeah.
Along with some of the other defensive players like Bobby Wagner, but Frank Clark, surprised he ain't still signed yet. Murphy Burton is out there. Marcus Peters is out. It's still some good names out there.
Yeah,
that is for sure. Well, everybody throw in your plugs. I know that we all have our projects. We all follow our teams. Just let everybody know that whoever tunes in, where they can find us. Harvey, you go first.
Sure.
Go ahead, Kendall.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say mine's right here at the bottom in parentheses Ken's Patch Talk. Go ahead and subscribe to me on YouTube. We're going live probably right after this show.
Well,
And you already know where I'm coming from. It's the Detroit Lions, Detroit Lions Avenue. That handle is at the Av Lions. And tonight we will actually be going live to discuss the final player from the Detroit Lions 2022 draft class, and that's cornerback Chase Lucas from the University of Arizona State.
nice.
You
Harv,
already know, man. It's on the hat. It's at the Cowboys Cast, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Hit us up. We're about to go live here in a couple of minutes, man. So at the Cowboys Cast.
yeah, and make sure you subscribe right here on East West Football. It should be right below Walt. You hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification, let you know when we go live. We're aiming for 3 times a week, but definitely Sundays is gonna be mainstream. So hey, we miss football. We're gonna keep counting it down. We'll be keeping up with free agency, and man, draft is just around the corner. But that's it for us, man.